Hi guys, so this video is just my initial thoughts and first impressions of patch 7.3 so far. So I guess the first thing to say is that it's nice to have new content to actually play, even if it is more of the same kind of stuff. Fighting new mobs in a different world is a nice change of scenery. However, as of right now, there is not a lot of actual content to do, maybe only around 40 minutes to 1 hour's worth of quests to do across the two zones that you unlock, those two zones being Cocoon and the Entoran Wastes. Whilst you are doing those quests, they are rather enjoyable and a lot of fun to play. And afterwards they are followed by a really entertaining cutscene featuring Illidan, to which I won't go into, but I'm sure the majority of you already know what I'm talking about and have already seen it. Once you have completed those quest lines, you then unlock the world quests that are available for each zone, to which it then becomes basically like the rest of Legion, with daily world questing to be done in order to help you obtain artifact power, higher base level loot items, new types of materials to be used in your professions, and by doing these quests it also helps you gain reputation with the Army of the Light faction, where you can buy new profession skills, a new shoulder enchant called Boon of the Light Bearer, which upon killing an enemy has the chance to drop a cachet called Light's Fortune, which when opened will contain Primal Sargerite, a material used for professions. It's basically like the new Blood of Sargeras for this zone. At Revered, you will be able to purchase the Crocool Flute for 500 gold, which is the new version of the flight whistle. When used, this will take you to the closest light forged beacon, so will become a must buy once you hit Revered. You will also be able to buy the light forged augment rune once exalted, for around 45,000 gold, which is basically a reusable defiled augment rune with a 1 minute cooldown. This will mean you no longer have to buy or farm those runes from previous raids, as you will now have a permanent reusable way of buffing your character. You will also be able to buy various mounts as your reputation increases, and at Exalted you will be able to purchase the Light Forged Warframe mount. This is currently worth over 500,000 gold, but that price may decrease slightly when your reputation increases, but either way it's going to be very expensive. Patch 7.3 has also brought us a new currency called Veiled Argonite, which is just a different version of the Nether Shard currency that we had on the Broken Shore. The vendor is now in the Vindicar, aka your ship, on the lower level right next to the bottom of the stairs, and sells both gear and relics at a base item level of 910. He sells these for 650 Veiled Argonite. These items also have the chance to proc to both Warforged and Titanforged. A good thing about this vendor is that you can select the specific type of relic you require, to hopefully give you something more beneficial for that particular relic slot, as trying to get a decent relic for a particular slot has been difficult for a lot of people during Legion. However, the one thing I'm not sure about is how I feel about the item level of the loot that is available from this vendor. He currently sells base item level loot of 910, and I think that is a very high item level. They also have a chance to proc to both Warforged and Titanforged. I obtained some braces that proc to item level 915, which replaced mine which were 905, as I've never had anything better drop from Heroic Tomb of Sargeras. However, the base item level of this loot is only 5 item levels behind the base level loot from Heroic Tomb of Sargeras, which is 915, and this is where I have mixed feelings about this. I feel it could be somewhat problematic. The fact that you can potentially get better loot from simply buying an item compared to completing more difficult content just seems a little bit odd to me. I think in the previous patch the Nether Shard vendor also sold higher item level gear, but I'm sure that was reduced soon after. I may be wrong in that thought though. I do believe however that it somewhat weakens the expansion as a whole, especially in terms of raiding and for the Mage Tower challenge, meaning you can quite quickly outgear the content in the expansion, and just overpower the more challenging types of content like the Mage Tower, therefore removing the actual challenge. But maybe this was Blizzard's intention to eventually do this after a period of time. It certainly gives you less of a reason to go back and complete the old raids, but I'm guessing there's not a lot of people who are doing them now anyway. Maybe apart from the Nighthold, as I still see people doing those raids. But in general, I'm unsure as to how I feel about this. I will say I wouldn't be surprised if the item level that the vendor sells maybe potentially is reduced, so make sure you get these items quick just in case they are. However, I do like the unsullied tokens that can be obtained, so I may be somewhat contradicting myself. These come from Argus World quests, and they can also drop from rare elites that you come across. You can also obtain them in your emissary bags or Argus caches, and they will also be obtainable from invasion points, I do believe. The reason I like these is because they have a base item level of 880, so they are slightly higher than normal Nighthold loot, and they are account bound, meaning you can send these to your ults. This is a great way of helping towards gearing your ult whilst playing on your main character. I think that's a nice touch from Blizzard, and I for one really appreciate that, as I don't really think 880 item level loot is as game changing as 910 item level loot, but hey, I could be wrong. So let's talk about the actual zone itself, or more so on getting around it. I find navigating the terrain extremely annoying right now. Whether that's just because I'm not fully used to it and I don't yet know the correct routes to take to get to certain areas, but I often find myself heading off on what seems like the correct direction to take on the map, only to hit a dead end and find that the place I need to be at is either way above me or way below me. I then have to double back and go through a gauntlet of mobs, which must be a nightmare for people who are not tanks, as they will be no doubt dismounted, just to take a different and longer route to get to a place that, according to the map, is directly opposite to me. I've never had a problem with flying not being available at the start of a new area, but I can't tell you how many times I've wished that I actually had it in this particular zone. I think maybe once I become more familiar with the zone, and once the Crowcool flute becomes available, which is the alternative to your flight whistle, then my opinion may improve. But as of right now, I really do dislike getting around in this zone. So my overall opinion on the first week of patch 7.3 is kind of mixed. There are things I like, and there are things I don't like. Hopefully the second week will open up more exciting new things to do and discover, and I may make a video after that week just to see how my viewpoint has changed, as I know the release of content is being staggered for the first few weeks, so I definitely don't want to prejudge. Anyway guys, that's it from me. How are you finding patch 7.3? Are you also finding it a pain to get around, or is that just me? Please comment, like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.